Hello my gorgeous friends of Webflow, it's your friendly neighbor Francesco from Subasedo here. After showing you how to build a vertical masonry layout in Webflow, remember that one? If not, link is in the description box. It's time to flip the script. This time we're going horizontal, recreating a beautifully responsive horizontal masonry layout, entirely no code, using only Flexbox. This tutorial is inspired by a classic CSS-Tricks article, and we'll see that this layout adjusts perfectly on any screen size. Images fill out rows while respecting their aspect ratio, is built with accessibility in mind, and again, of course, requires zero custom code, is a fantastic way to get hands-on with Flexbox in Webflow. It's fast, clean, and ideal for anyone looking to level up their image galleries, portfolios, or simply add more layout tricks to their toolkit. We'll start from static images, then we'll see how this layout can be smoothly applied to a collection list, and finally, we'll quickly add a staggered animation to the gallery items to make our layout a bit more dynamic. So, if you're looking forward to it as I am, stick around, and if you're interested in learning more about Webflow or no-code tools, check out our courses on Subasedo Academy. Link is in the description down below. And if you find my video helpful and want to support my work, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. But now, if you're ready, let's dive in. Let's set the scene. You have a bunch of images or photos, and they might be coming from the CMS or just be static elements, and you want to put them together in a simple photo gallery, a masonry layout where photos fill out rows while respecting their aspect ratio. Because we want our layout to be fully accessible, the base should be represented by a list. Since in this specific context the order of the items is not essential, we will opt for an unordered list. But the question is, why using a list would help us boost the accessibility of our layout? Well, whenever we use a list, we're explicitly communicating that the content inside belongs to a single set, a single structured list. So screen readers will say something like list 10 items, and then we'll read every image as an item of the list. This helps the user understands that there's a sequence of connected elements, and navigating through the content of your gallery becomes way smoother. This approach, in combination with a clear alternative text for each image, is what will make your layout perfectly optimized in terms of accessibility. But now, let's jump straight into Webflow and start building. Let's start by adding a section and assigning the section class, though we're not gonna apply any styling to this element. Then, as usual, let's add a container inside the section and give it the main container class. Let's use this class to apply both horizontal and vertical padding to the main container. Let's say 8 REMs for the top and bottom padding, and 6 REMs for the left and right padding. Let's also set the maximum width of the main container, something like 90 REMs. Inside the main container, let's throw a div block. This will wrap the actual content of the section, so let's give it the section content wrapper class. Now things start getting serious. Let's first add a list inside the section content wrapper, and let's give it the gallery list class. By default, this will be an unordered list, which is exactly what we want in this case. Now let's stop for a moment to think of what its display property value should be. Since we basically want to fill up rows by determining cell width based on cell content, Flexbox is definitely our go-to in this context. So let's set the display property of our list to flex, and because we want the images inside the gallery to be slightly apart from each other, let's also set the gap property to something like 0.5 REMs. Then, let's set the left padding and the bottom padding to 0. Finally, since we don't need bullet points, navigate to the Element Settings panel and under List Settings, let's click on No Bullets. Now, let's expand the gallery list and delete all the list items but one. Let's give the remaining item the Gallery Item class. First thing first, let's set the height to 36 VH. This is actually a completely arbitrary value. 36 VH seems like an appropriate initial approach for desktop browsers, showing 2 full rows of photos at a reasonable size and hinting at more below. But we have to keep in mind that this value should be fine-tuned based on the set of pictures we have. In this specific case, for example, when testing the layout for this tutorial, I realized that a slightly higher value like 37 would not work well for the set of images we're going to use. Now, because we cannot really see anything, let's throw an image inside the gallery item. And let's give it the Gallery Item Image class. Let's set both the width and the height to 100% to make sure the images always take all the available space within the parent container. And now let's duplicate the gallery item element 11 times to make sure we have 12 items within our gallery, and replace the images inside the duplicate elements. We now realize that, of course, our layout is missing something, because the gallery items are all laid out within a single row and are not wrapping at all. To fix this issue, all we need to do is select the gallery list element and, in the Style panel, under Layout, make sure to select the Wrap option to stack children from left to right into multiple rows. Things start looking better, but this is definitely not the layout we want yet. Why? Because now the width of each gallery item is entirely determined by the aspect ratio of the image inside, which is also what determines when the items inside the list, our Flexbox container, should wrap to the next line. So there's one more step to do. We have to tell the gallery items to expand within the parent Flexbox container to fill up the entire space available within each row. To do that, we have to select the gallery item element and, in the Style panel, under Flex Child, click on the mysterious 3 dots icon and make sure to set both the grow and the shrink properties to 1. This setting will make sure that all the items within the Flexbox container will kind of collaborate with each other and organize themselves to entirely fill up the rows, by also avoiding unwanted horizontal overflow if the space within a row is not enough. But now we can see we have another issue. Since the width of the gallery items is determined by the rule we have just set, and both the width and the height of the images is set to 100%, they will lose their original aspect ratio and be either shrunk or stretched. To solve this issue, simply select the gallery image and, within the Style panel, set the Object Fit property to Cover. This will make sure the original aspect ratio of each image is preserved, regardless of the size of the parent container. Then, depending on the actual images we're using, we might want to adjust the position of the images as well. But that's not the case this time. If we now scroll through the gallery, we can see we're almost done. The only thing that doesn't really work well is the last item. Because of the rule we set on the FlexChild element, it's growing to take up all the available space within the row. But this makes it look not really great. So, how can we solve that? Before answering this question, let's first say that this might not always be the case. If your layout works fine as it is, the following solution won't of course be required. In this case, we can simply add one more list item to our list. Then, after giving it the gallery item class, let's also add a combo class. Let's say cc-last. And under FlexChild, click once again on the three dots icon and set the shrink property to 0 and the grow property to 10. Now, there's no science in using 10 here, it just looks like this delivers the best results. But hopefully, now some of you started asking themselves a question. Isn't adding an empty list item bad for accessibility? And the answer is yes, it is. From an accessibility standpoint, that empty list item could confuse screen reader users, and it's like telling them, hey, here's an item, but actually there's nothing inside. So, how do we fix it? Well, easy trick. Just add the ARIA hidden attribute with a value of true to the empty list item. This way, screen readers will simply skip it, treating it as decorative and keeping the experience smooth for everyone. Cool, isn't it? Now, before moving to the CMS example, let's quickly tackle responsiveness. If we move to the tablet breakpoint, we realize that with the current combination of images, 38 VH is not an ideal value for the height of the gallery item. So let's tweak it and set it to something like 28 VH. Let's now move to the landscape breakpoint. In this case, though we don't clearly see it inside the designer, the layout is horizontal, and because the height is usually about half the width, in this situation we might want to switch perspective a little bit and set the width to, let's say, 28 VW and the height to auto. Finally, within the portrait breakpoint, we can revert to the initial approach, and after setting the width to auto, we can set the height to 45 VH. And because within the mobile portrait breakpoint the images will stack on top of each other, we can even set the display property of the empty list item to hidden. And that's it. Let's now open preview mode and see how this layout adapts to all sorts of viewport sizes. Now that we've built the entire layout and see how and why things work, we can quickly move to a slightly different scenario and test this same setup with items coming from a CMS collection. We'll quickly realize we'll have to face a small issue, but using Webflow's custom attributes in combination with the CMS, we'll be able to solve it in just a few seconds. But now, without further ado, let's go! The one we can see within the designer is the final result, which is, of course, identical to the previous one. But what's the structure of the CMS and how have the classes built so far been used in this case? Let's start from the CMS. If we open the CMS view and inspect the structure of the collection, we can see that it's extremely simple. We only have two custom fields, an image field, of course, and a simple text field called ARIA hidden. Do you remember we used the ARIA hidden attribute to hide the empty list item from screen readers? We're gonna use this field in a moment, but for now, let's go back to the designer and take a look at the structure. Oh, by the way, in a real client project, we should also add another text field to the collection that would be used to store the alternative text for the associated image. Similarly, when using static images from the asset panel, we should make sure they all have meaningful alternative text to make sure accessibility is always preserved. But we were talking about the designer. Well, here we simply added a new class to the list wrapper, the gallery list wrapper class, that we are just using to set the top margin of the list wrapper to 6 REMs, just to detach the list wrapper from the gallery above. Then, following the analogy between the collection list and the gallery list we've just built, we just need to assign the gallery list, gallery item, and gallery item image to the following elements. Now, some of you might ask, but where's the empty item this time? Do we even have an empty item this time? Of course we have, and there you go. But wait. How can we create an empty item, and how can we apply the same settings of the empty item in the gallery list above if we cannot assign it any combo classes without affecting all the other list items as well? Well, these two questions have very easy answers. In the first place, the empty item is an item without the image. That's it. If we take a look at the corresponding element within the CMS collection, we can see that the image field for this item is empty. Then, in order to target the last element of a collection list element, we only have to select the list item, and after opening the selector drop-down in the style panel, we have to click on last item. By doing that, we can edit the properties of that single item without affecting any of the others. And the rest is exactly the same as before. Of course, instead of simple images, you can use lightbox elements to let the visitors take a closer look to each image. But now, there's actually one more question we need to answer. Similarly to what we've done with the gallery list above, how can we make sure the screen readers will ignore the last empty item? Well, do you remember the area hidden field we've added to the CMS collection? We're gonna use exactly that field. If we take a look at the items of the CMS collection, we can see that all of them, except the empty item, have the area hidden field set to false. The empty item, on the other hand, has this field set to true. By doing that, we basically found a way to somehow store the information we need to ensure the full accessibility of our list. But how can we use it? We just need to select the gallery item element inside our collection list, and after navigating to the element settings panel, add the area hidden attribute. And then we simply have to connect the value to the area hidden CMS collection field, and that's it. The normal items will be read as usual by the screen readers, while the empty one will be completely ignored. Now that we've also seen how this layout can be smoothly used in combination with Webflow CMS, let's quickly use one of my previous projects to add a bit of movement to these images. In particular, let's quickly implement a GSAP staggered animation to make the images slide and fade in one after the other when they start scrolling in view. If you missed the video where I introduced this attributes only solution, you'll find the link in the description down below. But now, let's go! All we need to do is copy-paste the code from the GSAP staggered animation solution, and by following the highlighted instructions, add the FC GSAP staggered attribute with a value of list to both the gallery list elements. The animation can be fine-tuned by using additional attributes, but this time we'll use default values, so there's no need for other attributes. Now, we only have to publish the project and inspect the live page. And we can see now the staggered animation doing its job. It looks really nice, doesn't it? And that's it. Today we saw how we can take full control of a horizontal masonry layout, making it not only visually appealing but also fully responsive and accessible, all without writing a single line of custom code. And as a bonus, we've even added some smooth animation to give it extra personality. Of course, a link to the clonable for this project is available in the description down below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more Webflow tips and tricks. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Matane!